Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to one of our new English-speaking broadcasts. Today, I have the pleasure to have in our company Mr. Kostas Dimitriadis. Good evening, Kostas. How are you?
Good evening. Good evening to you, and good evening to all our audience.
Yeah. How are you?
Fine. I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Now we're going to discuss today the Queen Elizabeth II's death and the developments initiated by her death. I would like to have your views regarding Queen Elizabeth II's death. How people in Cyprus,
yes, I will speak on behalf of all Hellenism. I'm talking about all the Greeks, regardless if we are talking about the Greeks living in the mainland or the Greeks living in Cyprus. I have to admit that Queen Elizabeth was not the most favorable person for Greeks, and she has been for years the reference point for whatever has been considered hatred because of the death of some of our national heroes, that considered today national heroes, that for the English people in that time were considered terrorists. And I'm talking about the guerrillas of EOKA in the period of 1955 to 59. The most of them that they have been dead, they died not in a fight in the streets or in the battlefield, let's say, but they have been shown to be hanged after a decision of the court, of the grand jury of the English court in Cyprus. And we are talking about people that they were maximum 24, 23, 24 years old, starting from 17, that there has been Evagoras Pancaritis. Therefore, for the Cypriot people, let's say the majority, up to a point, up to a certain period, that still the fight of EOKA meant a lot to the Cypriots, because nowadays this starts to decline in their perception for the story of their country, of the legal entity that is called Cyprus. Queen Elizabeth was, let's say, the reference point to a killer. That's why I was expecting more people to be satisfied here in Cyprus when they heard about her death. But as I told you, in the recent years, some things seem to change, and let's say the voices of satisfaction with her death, which came in such an age of, let's say, almost 100 years old, and at the same time, after 70 years of being the queen of the United Kingdom, and the reference point for all the Commonwealth, seems to be a little bit filtered, let's say, for Cyprus, in the sense of the bad feelings about, or the good feelings in this case, listening on the news about her death. In Greece, things are a little bit different, because in Greece, they have not put too much water in their wine. in their glass of wine. That means has not been diluted all the perception that they used to have about Queen Elizabeth. So I believe that most of the people in Greece, in the motherland, felt not a satisfaction. Let's say they said, okay, what has been done. Let her go. No grief.
Yeah.
No, it's not hot, not cold.
Yeah,
You know, it's.
yeah.
But here in Cyprus, I expected, to tell you the truth, I expected more satisfaction, or more happy faces, or let's say people that they said, okay, she left, okay, go wherever she likes. Go. We believe that she belonged to hell. I was expecting things like this. I didn't hear too many voices in this sense. Frankly speaking, I think that the time is healing a lot of bitter things that I am always against these, let's say, this route, this path of the story, of the history, that we forget. But nevertheless, this is life. This is modern years, and I think things are going to change.
We shouldn't forget, but we have to still going on, because you know the world changes, so we cannot like think the way people.
I've seen things that practically. So. What I was telling you is practically the fact that things seem to be forgotten, okay, and a lot of hate that existed in Cyprus doesn't exist anymore. Of course, it is obvious that why things are different in the mainland in Greece. Because in the mainland of Greece, there have been several demonstrations where killed people at that time. When, for example, Karaolis and Dimitriou were supposed to be hanged, and they were hanged the next day, frankly. And in the demonstration the previous evening in Athens, the government of Karamanlis at that time, we are talking about 1956, something like 56, 57. Even my father used to say, and he was showing me, he had a sign from the defensive clubs of the policemen. He was victim of that. He participated in this demonstration, where they were asking to be cancelled, this hanging.
Yeah, give
hanging.
praise.
Yes.
That the Queen.
So Greeks of the mainland were finally supposed to be more sensitive than the Greeks in Cyprus. This is how we, the Greeks, we are our perception for the Queen Elizabeth II. Yeah. Because of course, if I use in my shoes, it was an Englishman, he would say the same. But if I go to in the shoes of an Englishman, of a British guy, obviously I will see different things, and even the events of that period, I will see it from the different point of view. I think,
of course, yeah.
you are living this reality nowadays.
Yes, I live the reality for 25 years. Yeah, there are people who are against the monarchy in Britain as well. They are against the institution of monarchy, and they do demonstrations as well. there were two people that got arrested in Scotland, and a person arrested in London during the whole thing of Queen Elizabeth II death. There were some demonstrations in Scotland and England as well. So there are British people who are against the monarchy, but they always gave the Queen the credit that she managed under difficult circumstances to keep the nation together. 4 states of the of the United Kingdom, she managed to keep them together for so many years, and that is a credit that they give her, even her opponents, which is something that we cannot close our eyes. We have to see the reality. And we
in theory, the role of a monarch is this.
Yeah, to keep the nation together, united.
Yes. That's why I said before, because maybe some of my fellow countrymen, my fellow Greeks, compatriots, will blame me for what I'm going to say, is that I understand, for me, and just to make things clear, also for me, Queen Elizabeth was not let's say, a very pleasant to think person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am using an expression that it is not exactly what I have in mind, but I want to be fair and calm on this. Because of the reasons that I told you before, okay, about the treatment that she had in those that she was considering terrorists, and for us were fighters for freedom. Just to understand why it started this, and in that time it used to be also a bitter, let's say, feeling bad, the Greeks, even in Cyprus, for the British, and that's why mainly it started the fight of Oka for let's say the liberation from the British and the unification with the rest of the mainland Greece. The reason is that the English themselves, knowing that there was always the Cypriots were eager to unify themselves in the rest of the Greek land, to become part of Greece. Always they were making a trap to them, to use them or to misuse them in all the wars. For example, in the Second World War, they have made a regiment, the Cypriot regiment, with, let's say, the informal promise that come to fight with us against the Germans. And we, when all this will finish, we will give you your freedom to decide whether to join Greece or not. This was a fake promise, because in the back of their head, the English people, or the English government at that time, never had in mind to do such a thing. It was only to convince them to fight for them, and the Cypriots always fight on the side of the English. Okay, they were part of the Commonwealth, but it was, let's say, more flexible situation here, because it was like a colony. It was not like Australia or Netherlands or Canada, that they were separated nations, independent nation. Here it was something different. And the English, they had to fight and to convince the Cypriots to fight for them. So always there was a fake promise that they will join when all this will finish. You will join Greek,
Yeah.
and
Do
you
you think it
agree.
was a fake promise, or is it
Yes,
because we weren't really trustworthy for them to keep the promise?
yes.
You know, in our
This is what I
history, we
say.
had loads of differences, even Greeks between them used to
Yes, of
fight.
course, but
Okay.
frankly speaking, even in the First World War, but also for those that they are studying history, they have seen that always, even the promises to Greeks
Yeah.
to fight on the side of England, it was also Cyprus. They knew the bond between Cyprus and Greece,
Yes.
and that's why always the fruit of the tree it was
Right.
Cyprus. Okay, and always in 1915, for example, to the government Zaimis, 1999, 1919, to the government of Venizelos, then to the other governments of the king also. They were saying, okay, but we will, and then before the Second World War, to Metaxas, always, you know, the issue was about Cyprus. The problem with us, the Greeks, is because we had also Greece used to be a kingdom up to half a century ago. It was a kingdom. We had also a king and also a dynasty that it was starting since 1840, something like 1850. This was the reason that we cannot understand the difference between the kingdom in UK and the kingdom in Greece, because in Greece the kings were directly involved in politics, while at the same time in UK the Queen has never interfered out of its role that it was to keep the nation together.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Greece, we had always the kings, and that's why Greeks, when there was a referendum, they voted, the 2/3 voted against monarchy, and only the 1/3, despite the fact that it was a very long-lasting dynasty, only the 1/3 voted for them, on favor of them. Greeks today, the bitter thing that they still have in their mouth concerning the Queen is the fact that, okay, we all say that Queen didn't give the royal grace not to be executed young boys in the age of 21, 22, 23, 24, or even 17, that it was Palikaridis, not to be hanged, okay, to use her royal grace. We know if somebody starts to think in the way he should be, he would say that, okay, all these heroes for us, for the English people, the English government, the English army, and the Queen of England, all these, they were terrorists. And so, as they have been punished by legal trial in Cyprus, and they have been convicted to death by hanging, they should have been hanged, as it happened. What I expected, and I don't forgive to the Queen, is she didn't take into consideration that these people, maybe these young boys, maybe they were terrorists according to her perception, but they were young. They were fighting for something that they would believe in. It was their belief. And I understand that it was not easy for the Queen of a nation to change to change the decision of a court. I wouldn't expect that she would change the decision of the court or interfere in this procedure. But I was expecting from her, as a mother, as a grandmother, to give the royal grace to these young boys, to send them in the worst, let's say, prisons that she imprisoned the guerrillas of, let's say, of North Island, of IRA. The highly security prisons for lifetime. But it is rather cruel to send these young boys in death by hanging. And this is what I don't forget.
She followed the protocol. She followed the rules of her country.
Yes, but when even the Pope,
it means that
even the Pope, all the civilized world was asking her not to execute, at least for Palikaridis. He used to be 17 years old. Not for Palikaridis to be hanged. She could give royal grace.
She preferred not to give the royal grace and follow the rules, because that's
she would not change. Listen. She wouldn't change the let's say the decision of the court. Okay, the decision of the court will be done by, and sending them where I tell that she would send them. It would be more like hell. Okay, like death. I know, because another great hero for some people in Cyprus, Nikos Samson, was sent there and also tried to escape. Okay, he attempted an escape operation, but when you listen how it was the environment in these jails, where are also the IRA guerrillas were there punished, you will understand immediately that she could easily transform the convict and the verdict of the court from death by hanging to lifetime imprisonment in highly security prison. You know, this would give the possibility to these people to leave, because after 3 years, England itself gave the independence in Cyprus.
What I can say, I don't know why she did it, but what I can say is that's what she thought would be the best. So she said she couldn't change her.
I recognize from the first place her right to act in a certain way. I only explain why there is so much hate from our side to the Queen of England.
Not only on Cyprus, people from Africa, they have a hatred over her decision and the punishments done to other people.
She reflected also all the bad issues of the English nation towards other countries. You know, she was the #1 person of this nation for 70 years. Okay, the first citizen of this nation for 70 years. It's normal that all the people that they have problems with English or British in general, these people reflected their hate also mainly to the Queen.
Yeah, of course.
But on the other hand, I can speak, now I'm not speaking as Greek, I'm speaking, let's say, as a Swiss guy and a neutral guy. I would recognize that and accept that Queen Elizabeth was the glue that kept its nation
United Kingdom.
bonded.
United, yeah.
Bonded. Not united, bonded.
Bonded, yes.
Okay? Because, when you say united, you mean that everything is okay and we are united now. You see, in Scotland, people, they made even a referendum to go. She kept the whole nation bonded.
Yeah.
And this is something that I accepted for her and is on her favor. And I think that also in the royal institution, it was a very primary plus grade that has been given. This is my idea about Queen Elizabeth. I believe that for her nation was very good. She kept the balances, she kept the tolerances, she kept the vibrations. She never interfered to create problems to governments.
No.
She followed the democratic, let's say, and parliamentary procedures, respecting them. She kept a culture alive for many, many, many years. And that's why the English people, in their high majority, they feel a grief.
Yeah, there were three referendums back in 2007, 2008, and 2012. And the 90% of the British people, they were in favor of the monarchy.
Yeah, I
Only
can understand
10%
that.
were against it. I don't know how.
I can understand that, Sophia. I can understand that. This is the reason.
So that's one thing that we cannot not see and not
you cannot ignore this. You cannot put it aside. Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is that all this is against what she did to other nations that she governed, the Commonwealth nations.
Listen,
that's the truth as well. We have to see that.
I have studied, especially for the case of anti-Nazi during the period of occupation of Greece from Nazis. The Nazi people were finding too many troubles lately at the last years of the occupation with the guerrilla war. The Greek resistance was doing an excellent job. And after this, we had the civil war, we had several things that they have been provoked or whatever, it's a long story, but I studied also a part of this period. In all the documents of the Foreign Office, in all the documents of the English, let's say, government, there was never mentioned the name of the king. It was King George, I think her father was king at that time, was not mentioned anywhere. And this happened also with Elizabeth. That means that she kept her position as a monarch, not as a ruler.
Exactly.
So all the decisions, they were coming from the people, they were for the people, and they were to the people from the government. So all the documents, they were talking also in the issue of Cyprus in 1974. All the documents were from the British Prime Minister, the British Minister of Foreign Affairs. They were never, you can never find somewhere in one document that the Queen wanted this. Nobody took care of what, took in consideration what the Queen would like or to happen in this story. The reason that we believe that we have the perception that maybe she was involved is because our kings and our queens were involved.
With the decisions
and we
of
couldn't think that maybe Elizabeth was not involved at all, and it was just a symbol and a glue, as I told you before. And I tell you, the main thing that I don't forgive her is the fact that she never gave royal grace to these young boys that they were fighting for their beliefs.
Fair enough, yes.
And they were
But the
fighting
thing-
for their beliefs, feeling that they were betrayed by the British, who promised them in a fake way, in a false way, falsy way, that come to fight with us, and when this will be over, you can do whatever you like, including to join the Greek territory.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, this is out of discussion.
Yeah. The thing is that Queen Elizabeth, to my point of view, she done whatever she could to keep her nation, the 4 states of the United Kingdom, together, and she done a great job in respect of that. Obviously, she done some bad things, and obviously in Cyprus as well, the same as other Commonwealth states she governed, and that's another thing. So we have to judge her from 2 points of view, I think. She has to be judged from the British point of view, and obviously from the Commonwealth, other countries that they suffered under her rule. And that is the reality. That's the reality.
Her reign, not her rule.
Her reign, yes.
She was not the ruler, you know, it was not the decision maker, you know.
The governors were
it was not the decision maker.
Oh, yes.
This is what, that's why I distinguish everything, and I take also the part of the English, how they were feeling about their queen,
Yeah.
because I know that she was not involved in the decision making. It was maybe sometimes it was a consultant, you know, if the prime minister was asking here his opinion.
But what you say about now the grace, the royal grace, they say, some British here, they say that she couldn't give the royal grace because she hasn't been consulted. Nobody asked her opinion. It was down to the governor and the British government to give that decision. So she hasn't been properly asked or consulted. And that's what the British say. That's what the British say. But again,
it's a little bit. It's a long story. It's a long discussion. This because there are
complicated, long discussion, and yeah, it is really
about the consultants and all this. You know, the people living near the monarch and giving opinions and all these things. You know, they are driving us back to the Byzantium period.
Really, it's very complicated.
It's very complicated. But in any case, I'm sure that she had the possibility to do it, especially because a great number of people, of personalities worldwide, they were asking her to do it. But then she preferred to close her eyes, close her ears.
Maybe she was afraid. Maybe she was afraid she was going to be. She's going to be. Maybe she was afraid of her being I don't know. Maybe she was afraid of her opponents. May call her like for traitor or.
Traitor what? She was not leaving them.
Really know. What?
He was not setting them free. You know, he was bringing them somewhere. From what Samson used to say, it was like being in hell. So she was not making. She was not supposed to make a favor to. She was only extending their life. This is what I don't forgive to her. But it's a bitter moment that now she's going to be buried together with her husband. But by the way, he was Greek in origin. You know, his father was a prince, and due to the fact of some mistakes that he did as an officer of the army, high rank officer of the army, during the Greco-Turkish War in 1921, when the revolution of the defeated Greek army returning to Greece took place, the English, the last moment with their ambassador Lidse in that time, they saved him. They took him from Greece, although he was supposed to be executed. Also, this guy, and he was the father of the Queen's consort Philip. It was the Prince Andrew, and was the father of Philip, and grandfather of King Charles.
Yeah.
Now, that's why also the Greek
King Charles gonna do as a king. Is he gonna continue the same?
I tell you something. I believe that if he finds things in a difficult way, I think that he will step down on the favor of his son. If he will be pushed. I don't think that a guy that left his life, the whole life, in being in ceremonial situations and things that they didn't have to. They didn't have too much to think about. If he will be under pressure, I presume, this is what I believe, that he will step down for the favor of his son.
I don't know, because we don't really know if he worked in his life or not. Nobody knows that. We don't know if he worked or not.
What we don't know. What we don't know. I can tell you that at least the 1/3 of the year he was in Greece, or in islands, or in the monastery of Athos.
That's what they want us to see. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Okay. In any case, the issue is today's issue was Elizabeth. What Charles is going to do, it's.
We don't know. We
have to wait and see. I am saying that it's hard to call you at your 73 and to ask you to work for the first time. This is what I believe.
We don't know that. We have to wait and see.
He may surprise us. You can have your opinion. As Voltaire the Great, the second, because there is Voltaire the first and there is Voltaire the second. I'm the second, and I repeat, I don't agree for what you say. You have every right to say it, but I will not fight for you to say it. Okay? It's not like Voltaire the First. I will not fight.
Well, I said I don't know what he's going to be like. That's what I said. I don't say that he's going to be good or not. We just have to wait and see, and he may surprise us. You never know.
Okay. This is the best phrase, the best expression concerning Charles. I wish him all the best. I wish him. He had the courage. He had the courage to marry the woman that he loved, and my sympathy for him is just for this, nothing else.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. As I say, I don't know. It's the first time we've seen Charles.
Let's hope that he will be a king like his mother, like a queen.
Never knows.
The queen that she was his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope. Let's go for the sake and the good of the English people and the English society.
It may be the end of the monarchy. Who knows? He may cause the. We don't know. We have to wait and see how he's going to be like.
So I believe that I analyzed the point of view of the Greeks concerning what had happened to the Queen. I hope that things will go in a better way for the future. And I really thank you for having this broadcast today.
Yeah, it was very nice. Pleasure.
To express also our point of view to the English people.
Exactly, the Greek point of view. Yes. Yeah. Right. So thank you very much. And good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night and take care. God bless you all.
Too.
Bye.